Still on the national shutdown and GBV protests, SABC News reporter Chriselda joins us from Constitution Hill in Johannesburg with the very latest from protesters gathered there. Good afternoon, Chriselda. What a powerful moment.
Well, Mfundo, indeed a powerful 15 minutes of silence. One of the locations here at Constitution Hill, which is a powerful signal of struggle, of which these women say today's struggle is that against gender-based violence. Pregnant women, men, women from all walks of life, as well as some individuals that have traveled from different parts of the world. There's a representation here from different parts of the world, and I think this is quite symbolic in the sense that we've got G20 leaders, well, of course, G19, minus the United States of America, and they say this is a very important time to have this discussion, that while these world leaders will deliberate on global issues, one of the global issues, a scourge that needs to be tackled, is that of gender-based violence. One of the organizations at the forefront of today's protest, I don't want to call it a march, it's not a march, it was a silent protest for 15 minutes, in recognition, commemoration of those women who've died at the hands of gender-based violence and femicide as well. Let me bring in the spokesperson for Women for Change, who is Cameron Kasambala. Cameron, thank you very much indeed for joining us. What a powerful 15 minutes that symbolizes a scourge that not only affects South Africa, but the rest of the world. And you've got world leaders here in South Africa, of course, the G20 leaders here, very powerful nations, who could say something about the scourge.
My heart is like heavy right now, because I think this silence is like going grief. The grief is heavy right now, but the support of the women, the queer community, and the men here in South Africa, the support from international bodies, we have seen them show up for us. We're hearing them do their own shutdowns and protests to support ours, and we're so grateful for the international support, and it's what led us to right now being where we are, and we could not have done it without the people that are standing here today. We could not have done it with this community.
Yeah. What more needs to happen, Cameron? We're headed towards 16 days of no violence against women and children. That is 16 days to remember and to commemorate. However, there are 365 days in a year. What more do you think leaders of these nations need to do in terms of policy, lawmaking, to ensure that the scourge is dealt with?
I think right now the great thing is that we've been in meetings with the government, and we've had these very important conversations. And we've had him, admit that he will be classifying gender-based violence as a national disaster. That is already a step in the right direction. That is holding himself accountable. He said this at the G20 Social Summit, and that means he is admitting to the whole world this is as bad of a crisis as we think, and he's placing himself on the block to say, I will be dealing with this as needed.
And I mean, with the discussions that these world leaders will be having, the G20, in addition to lawmaking, policy, the names of, I think most significantly, the names of some of the women who died at the hands of gender-based violence were also mentioned here today.
This is a day of mourning. Whether we get the mention or we didn't get a response from the government, it was never just about that. We are here to memorialize and honor these lives that have been lost, and it was so important that we did that we said their names, that we put names to these numbers. These people are more than numbers, and we wanted to make sure that this was felt.
All right, thank you very much indeed. We do appreciate your time, Cameron Kasambala, and I think very well done. I think the country is watching, and quite a symbolic moment. I'm just going to move just a little bit closer to this direction, Mfundo. Just bear with me with my colleague, and let me speak to some of the crowds in here. In fact, let me just move inside to a bit where the crowd is. And let me see if I can't speak to some of the women who are gathered here. Let me just go inside. All Right. Good afternoon to you. I mean, talk to us about the importance of you being here today to support this movement.
I'm here because I'm supporting this movement, and it's important to us as a young woman. We are dying everywhere, and we are afraid everywhere, and we are afraid to walk free. So it's important for me to be here and support this thing of today.
All right, thank you very much indeed. Let me speak to you. Sir, you're also here to support today.
Yes.
What do you say as men against the scourge?
Yeah. One thing I want to our president, declare this type of gender-based violence a national disaster, because this thing, it can never continue in our names. Enough is enough. This thing must come to an end. We are on the forefront. The president said we must be on the forefront. So we are here as men. We have stand up. We are supporting our women. This thing must come to an end. They must declare a national disaster. That's what I want. I'm requesting the president.
Thank you very much indeed. And the song that is being sung at this moment, it says Yimbi Lendawo, which means this is a bad place. It speaks to the challenges that women are facing, not just in South Africa, but also around the world. And that 15 minutes of power, they say that they're hoping that today's protest, that today's symbolism will go beyond just that. It will also go to the ears of these world leaders, hoping that while the focus is on South Africa, while the focus is on discussions that will be had at the G20 summit, one of the important issues that needs to be addressed is that of gender-based violence. And significantly, this takes place not too far from the 16 days of no violence against women and children. And when we talk about no violence against women and children, many of the speakers here have spoken about that is just 16 days. But in a full 365 days in the year, they're hoping that more can be done by the governments, including the government of South Africa, to address issues of gender-based violence. They say, Senzeni na, what have we done?
Thank you very much, Chriselda. An important question. What have they done? Well,